Well, welcome everyone. I would just like to welcome everyone to our graduation information session. You know, it's been a difficult year with the pandemic and all the challenges that you seniors and your parents have had. But I have no doubt that this class will have many successes coming from it throughout uh, throughout the years to come. So I'm excited about having this session. I know it's been a long time coming. I'm hoping that we have all our seniors participate and we have as much you know, participation as possible. So, les quería darles la bienvenida a todos a nuestra sesión informativa de graduación. Ha sido un año difícil con la pandemia y todo lo que ha acompañado a nuestros estudiantes. Son resistentes y no tengo ninguna duda que habrá muchas historias de éxito provenientes de esta clase de graduados. So, me da estoy muy feliz en que tenemos esta sesión y que vamos a poder celebrar la graduación con ustedes este año. Gracias por estar aquí y si les quiero dar saber que si vamos a dar las respuestas a cada pregunta y nomás tengan paciencia durante el webinar que vamos a tener. Okay. All right. Thank you. Gracias.
And just for housekeeping purposes, again, folks, if you have questions throughout this presentation, we're going to try to do the presentation in both English and Spanish. We will record tonight's presentation as well. So if you have some friends, family members that weren't able to attend and need to know this information for their graduation, please make sure to pass it along. We will throw it up on our website under our activities page so that you can see that later along with this presentation. So vamos a dar esta presentación. Vamos a tratar de ser en inglés y en español. La presentación también lo vamos a grabar para que lo puedan ver más tarde y para que pueden compartir esta información con otros que no pudieron ser parte de la junta de la presentación hoy. Y todo esto va a estar en nuestro sitio de la web, de la red, okay? So with that too, if you have any questions, we said, please put them in the Q&A. Si tienen preguntas, pueden escribirlos aquí donde dice Q&A, está por abajo. Y ahí pueden escribir sus preguntas y lo vamos a estar contestando durante la presentación. Okay. All right, so first of all, we're very excited. This is a very exciting year for us because unlike last year, this year we will be able to actually have an in-person graduation ceremony. So just like the previous years and our 50 years of being open as a school, our graduation will be like we've always seen it in the past with live ceremony, students being able to walk in through our processions in their cap and gowns, be able to cross the stage, get their diplomas, the full nine. And we are going to work as best we can to make that ceremony as beautiful and momentous as we always have. There will be some restrictions, of course, because COVID is still around and we are still trying our best to keep everyone safe. So we will need to follow the protocols that are given to us by the LA County Department of Public Health. And those are always subject to change. They are changing as we speak. They depend a lot on which tier we are in. Most of this information is still actually from being in the orange tier. There is very big announcements and notifications coming out shortly about us moving into the yellow tier, which is least restrictive and can provide us with even more opportunities. But at this time, we still haven't gotten any updates regarding how that's going to change graduation and if that'll give us a little bit more freedom in some areas. So for now, today's information is really based off of our latest update, which is still the orange tier information, okay? Our graduates will be wearing, like I said, their traditional cap and gown and school approved attire. So that when we mention that, and we'll show examples later, but what we're talking about is having your purple, your gold, your white gowns, your caps, your any medals, any honor cords that you've earned, your CSF gold cords, your early college blackboards, your valedictorian medals. As long as there's something that's been approved by us at the school site, those things will be allowed. The same kind of regulations we've used in the past as far as not having any kind of flowery stuff or things that are not school related will still be our same policies as now. That's going to hold true to our tradition. All the event will take place outdoors and will have limited seating capacity. So we're going to talk about that a little bit more. But one thing to be aware of is, unlike previous ceremonies, we are going to have a chance to do it live in person, but we will not be able to do it as large as it used to, where we can invite so many of our family members. And unfortunately, that's just what we're following so far with protocols. It could change, but for now, that means that each graduate will get 2 guests that they'll be able to bring to the graduation ceremony. Okay. And again, if you have questions throughout, you just throw them in the chat and we'll kind of, not the chat, but the Q&A feature, and we'll get there. So just to share that in Spanish, esta graduación va a ser en persona. So lo bonito es que vamos a poder tener esta ceremonia vivo con todos, como lo hicimos antes. Nuestra graduación tradicional, donde podemos, hacer la marcha de la entrada, la procesión. Los alumnos van a tener la oportunidad de ser parte de esa ceremonia como antes, poder cruzar en el estadio, al darles su diploma y tener esas partes. Ahora sí vamos a tener diferentes restricciones según los protocolos del Departamento de Salud Pública de Los Ángeles. Eso sí se está cambiando. Esta presentación y esta información es sobre la información que nos dieron, y mucho de eso se trata de ser del sistema de niveles. En este nivel estamos naranjado, pero eso va cambiando. Hemos visto que estamos cambiando en la área de Los Ángeles al nivel amarillo, y estamos esperando si vamos a tener otras noticias sobre cómo eso va a afectar a las graduaciones. So, si nos dan más libertades y podemos hacer más, tener más invitados, vamos a compartir esa información, pero en este momento todavía tenemos nada más los protocolos del nivel anaranjado. Okay. So esta graduación va a ser como lo hicimos antes, muy tradicional. Los graduados sí van a vestirse en el vestido tradicional de graduación. Le vamos a dar la oportunidad de ponerse los medallas, las medallas, los cordones de honor, y todo que estamos aprobados como lo hicimos en el pasado. Vamos a tener las mismas costumbres que tuvimos antes, o vamos a tener que seguir con esas reglas. Este evento va a ser a cabo al aire libre, y vamos a sí tener una capacidad limitada de asientos. Nada más podemos tener tantos asientos llenados por las leyes del condado. Entonces, en este momento estamos limitados de nada más 2 invitados por graduado. ¿Ok? So, vamos a hablar más de eso para que puedan saber cómo se pueden registrar. So, to give you some information on our program, our graduation is scheduled for June 3rd. That is on a Thursday. It will be at 7 p.m. The ceremony will be a shorter version because, again, due to our restrictions, we can't have the ceremony be very long to keep folks so close together for a long period of time. So we're going to try our best to complete the program within an hour. We will have limited presentations and speakers and performances, unlike past years. And so our program will be a little shorter, but like I said, it'll still have all the traditional elements that one has come to expect from a graduation. We will have arranged seats for our graduates like we typically do, and I'll show you an example what that looks like. It will include, like I said, a lot of our traditional processes like the marching, our entrance, our procession, the crossing of the stage, the awarding of the diplomas. Just like in previous ceremonies, you receive your diploma cover during the ceremony, and you actually receive the actual diploma certificate at a later time. Okay, so our goal and what we've been asked to do when it comes to this graduation is to try to keep it as minimal contact as possible. So it'll be 6 feet distancing throughout. And so that means we're not going to allow folks to group up throughout this graduation ceremony. And that's going to be pretty tricky, but even though it'll be different, we're going to try our very best so that you have those parts of the ceremony, even though they are a little more socially distanced for your safety. Okay, so este programa va a ser, la ceremonia sería el día 3 de junio a las 7 en la noche. Esperamos que el programa sería como 1 hora porque no podemos estar en una ceremonia que es tan grande, que tiene tanta gente por mucho tiempo. Son las presentaciones, los lectores, todo eso sería un poco más breve. No vamos a tener tantos para que podamos terminar con la ceremonia en tiempo. Vamos a tener cientos arreglados para los graduados y les voy a dar un dibujo en un momento para que lo puedan ver. Sí va a incluir todas las cosas que hicimos antes, la marcha, la procesión, cruzando todo el stage. Los graduados también recibirán la diploma, la cobertura, pero van a recibir la diploma un tiempo después. Y estamos también todavía planeando cómo va a ser ese proceso para que no se junten tanto para su seguridad. ¿Okay? La meta de esta ceremonia es que sea una ceremonia sin contacto a lo máximo posible. Este es un dibujo de cómo nada más para dar ejemplo de cómo se va a parecer la ceremonia. Puedes ver que los asientos van a estar bien de distancia, de 6 pies en cada distancia de cada otro. Para su seguridad. Vamos a estar dándoles asientos asignados, o si el apellido de su hijo es acá, serían al lado izquierdo, que es donde están los bleachers de los visitantes. Si su apellido termina o empieza con la letra L a Z, ellos se van a sentar al lado derecha, que es donde está al lado del home side, de nuestra casa. ¿Ok? Eso lo tenemos que hacer para que es fácil para ustedes cuando se están registrando para sus boletos, para que les podamos darle el boleto donde va a ser al lado de donde va a estar su hijo o hija. ¿Ok? Para que lo pueden ver cuando van entrando y pueden tomar sus fotos y todo eso. ¿Ok? So this is an example of what our graduation seating will look like. It's very similar. What you see is, our stage in the middle. You see we'll have our big screen, our big jumbotron for everyone to watch and be able to follow along. The seating will be more far apart for your safety. It's going to be spaced out about 6 feet in every direction. And what we're going to do so that it makes it very easy for your parents to be able to find you and be able to watch you walk in, take their photos, and see you as you're going through the whole entrance and crossing the stage and everything. On the left side, which is our visitor side, is going to be those whose last names are from A through K. You guys will be sitting on that side, and we'll have you on that side of the area, and your parents' tickets will be on the visitor stand so that they can watch you walk in. If your last name is from L to Z, will sit on the right side, which is our home side, and your parents will have tickets where they can sit on the home side bleachers. Okay, that's so that we can sit you very quickly. Your parents know what letters are coming up. They can follow along, and more importantly than anything, they can see you throughout the procession. Okay. Another thing that's important to mention that I haven't said just yet is that, as we have been doing for the last few years, this entire event will be live streamed. So thanks to our wonderful Vista program, this entire ceremony will be recorded. It'll be live so that your family members at home who couldn't join us in person will be able to see you and celebrate you. So that, even if you couldn't have everyone there, and I know we love to have the entire family, grandma, brother, sister, cousins, tias, everyone. Unfortunately, again, because of our restrictions, we can't, and we can only allow 2, but everyone will still be able to watch you from home. Okay, so that's something we're working on. So lo que acabo de decir es también, durante esta ceremonia lo vamos a estar grabando y va a ser parte de algo donde lo pueden ver vivo por nuestro website, y para que los padres, los los abuelitos, los tíos que no pudieron venir a la ceremonia por parte de nuestra restricción por la capacidad del estadio y lo que los permite en este momento, ellos lo van a poder ver en sus computadoras, sus teléfonos en la casa, okay? And I'll talk more about that later.
Mr. PS, can you also include when it's recorded, it will be posted, or is it just going to be a link on a YouTube link? Do you know?
Yeah, I'm actually that is a part of our
Okay, we'll wait for that answer.
slide. But yeah, it is typically on our website, and there's usually a big arrow through MVHS Live where they can click and watch it and see it live. And then afterwards, it saves it as a YouTube video so that you can see it through YouTube. Okay. So estuvimos hablando antes de los protocolos de la ciudad o del condado de Los Ángeles, y esto es lo que son. So this is what those protocols are that we were mentioning that we have to follow at this time. Attendance is limited at this time to only 33% of our total capacity in our stadium. So that includes all the graduates and it includes everyone in the stands. So that is very limiting when you think about a huge stadium like ours. It seems really big, you can fit a lot of people, but when you have to have them 6 feet apart, it really downsizes the amount of students we can have and family members we can have. And so what we've been able to calculate right now is that could be for about, as we have almost 300 graduates, that it would be allowed to give us 2 tickets per family. In order to know who will be attending, because we'll need to check them in and have that for contact tracing, a pre-registration process will be required. So folks will need to fill out a form for each graduate so that we know which 2 members you will be bringing. They will need to get screened when they come onto campus with their temperature checked and with answering our COVID screening questions. There will be all kinds of routes and markings for them when they come onto the campus so that they know which way to enter, which way to exit, including for our graduates. We'll have special entry and exits for them. We will have assigned seating for all participants so that they're 6 feet apart. So while we have our bleachers, we need to we're required to write down physical seat numbers for where people are going to sit. And that's going to be actually on your ticket. So when you register, and it's going to be more like first come, first serve, we will actually, each person who fills out the form, we're going to assign them. So if you were in row 1, seat 1, that'll be your actual ticket. And that's where you'll be sent to sit during the ceremony. Okay. No eating or drinking will be allowed during the ceremony. We won't be able to have concession stands like we have in the past because that would require removal of masks. And that's another one of our limitations, that folks must be masked the entire time during the ceremony. We will have hand sanitizer stations throughout. We will have face masks available in the case that someone's face mask rips or some kind of issue comes up where you need an extra. We will try to have some on hand as well, so that you do have that, because face masks will be required for everyone who is in attendance. So esos son los protocolos que estuve compartiendo. La asistencia está bien limitada, nada más podemos tener 36% de la capacidad total del lugar, y eso incluye todos, a los graduados, a las familias, a los miembros del plantel que están trabajando. So en este momento nada más podemos ofrecer 2 asientos por cada miembro de la familia, y cada miembro de la familia que viene va a tener un asiento asignado donde ellos van a tener que sentarse. So vamos a escribir hasta en los bleachers, en cada área donde se van a sentar, les vamos a dar en su boleto, va a escribir como si fueran un concierto, que se van a sentar en área A, asiento número 1. Para que ustedes ya pueden saber dónde estar sentados y estar a una distancia de seguro. Okay, so también este proceso va a tener un requisito de preinscripción para todos los participantes, y les voy a dar la forma en que pueden hacer eso, para que pueden llenar esa forma. Para cada graduado van a tener que llenar los 2 nombres que van a estar parte de la ceremonia. Vamos a tener rutas por todos lados. Va a tener una entrada, una salida asignada para que no se junten tantos para su seguridad. no podemos tener en este momento comida o no se puede comer, no se puede beber durante la ceremonia, no vamos a poder vender cosas durante la ceremonia porque todos tienen que tener puesto la máscara, algo para cubrir la nariz y la boca durante la ceremonia. Vamos a tener desinfectantes de manos por todos lados del estadio y también tendremos unas máscaras disponibles si alguien lo necesita por cualquier razón, si tiene algo que pasa con su máscara, sí vamos a tener unas extras en ese caso. Okay. So I'll pause there. Well, let me get through these tickets and then I think we'll take some questions because I know a lot of the questions I get from seniors are usually a lot about the tickets. And I know that was a thing that came up a lot when the superintendent shared his presentation. And so I'll share with you all here as well. So like I mentioned, each graduate will be limited to 2 guests and the 2 guests must be from your immediate household. So they have to be people who live with you and they have to be immediate family members. So I know that that's not how we would choose. Ideally, you might want to invite your best friend or something. But again, we have to try to limit the exposure as much as we can. So our guidelines from what we're receiving at this time is that it has to be a parent, it could be a guardian, it could be a sibling, but it has to be someone who you live with.
Right. And we have to remember that includes children as well.
It does. We only get 2. So whether you want to have mom and sister go, or grandma and little brother, that's really going to be your choice, but we only get 2 per family. It's not 2 family members and a child. It's not going to work like that. It's 2. Okay.
And we have to remember that's why we're doing the live streaming, so that we can be able to share as much as we can with all our families.
Right. So when you do the pre-registration, and there's a link right here at the bottom that you see, I'm going to walk you through it so you actually look at that process. It's a Google form. You'll have to basically write in the names of your guests, first and last name, your ID number, a phone number in case we need to contact you if there's any questions regarding your registration. And then it's going to have a question even for vaccination status, and I'll tell you why that's important. Tickets will be provided. Once you fill out that registration form, that lets us know who goes on the list. The list is what we're going to use to check in people to the event along with your ticket. All guests must be registered and on the list when they check in. There will not be changes allowed at the door. So you cannot register one person on the Google form and then give the ticket to a different person. They won't be allowed in. So it's very important that when you make that registration, think about it and really decide who it's going to be who attends that graduation, because we won't be able to switch it out later. Okay. And when the guests arrive, they must bring in their ID to also be matched up with their ticket.
And I'm sorry, Mr. Palmasracho, when will students be allowed to begin to register?
As soon as possible. So actually this presentation we'll have up on, I would say by Monday morning, we should have this up on our website so that you can click on this link and start registering. If not, you'll probably also receive an email from Ms. Monica Reyes in our activities office with this link so that you seniors can start filling it out so that you could start getting your family members on the list. Okay. Like other events, we don't want to obstruct anybody's view. So please, no balloons, no large signs, anything that can't be seen just in front of you is not going to be allowed. So people bring balloons every single time, and we always have to have them tie them to the fence. And at that point, it's really at your own risk. So please don't bring anything that would prevent someone else from seeing their son or daughter graduate. We want everyone to have a good view of the program. We cannot have any kind of spaces where folks can be congregating and mixing and possibly getting each other sick. So there will be no congregations throughout. We're going to try to space out everything from the line to the restroom to even the exits. There will be no one allowed onto the field before, during, or after the program. The graduates will actually be exiting the field at the end of the ceremony and will be excusing you from the inside of the quad. Okay, so that's just another important thing. We can't have our families, like we always traditionally do, come onto the field and give hugs and take pictures and stuff. We'd love to do all that stuff, but again, we still have to deal with all the restrictions we have right now due to COVID. Okay, so just to go over some of that in Spanish. So esto es información sobre los boletos y nuestras policías. de la ceremonia. So, cada graduado, como dijimos antes, les vamos a dar 2 invitados y estos 2 invitados tienen que ser parte de la familia o del hogar inmediato. So, tienen que ser gente que viven con ustedes. Quiere decir que puede ser los padres, puede ser los hermanos, puede ser un abuelito que vive con ustedes, pero nada más puede ser 2 personas. So, lo deben de pensar muy bien quién va a ser esas 2 personas que vienen, porque los demás van a tener que verlo de la casa y como dije antes, lo vamos a estar enseñando por la red, lo vamos a estar grabando toda la ceremonia para que lo puedan ver. Pero así va a ser y ustedes pueden decidir si va a ser un hermano y mamá, si va a ser abuelita, quién es el guardapadre, quién es, si es nada más los 2 padres, eso va a ser su decisión, pero nada más podemos admitir a 2 personas al evento. Cuando van a hacer la forma, va a ser una forma donde se pueden registrar y van a escribir su nombre y su información de contacto para que si tenemos preguntas podemos hablar con ustedes. Los boletos los vamos a dar antes de la ceremonia a los graduados, lo vamos a dar en las prácticas de graduación y todos tienen que estar registrados y en la lista antes de llegar al estadio. Vamos a estar chequeando los boletos y identificación también para ver que esos son los mismos personas que fueron registrados en la forma. No podemos hacer cambios en la puerta, no podemos cambiar los boletos con otra persona. Es bien importante que antes que llenan la forma, por favor, sí piensen bien los 2 personas que van a ser invitados a la ceremonia. ¿Ok? Como antes, no se permiten globos o otros elementos que pueden obstruir la vista de otros invitados. Queremos que todos puedan ver la ceremonia sin algo que le están bloqueando. ¿Ok? El acceso al campo estará restringido antes, durante y después del programa. Una cosa que va a ser un cambio bien grande este año es que no vas a poder dejar a los padres y los familiares entrar al campo para ver a los alumnos después de la ceremonia. Todos los alumnos los vamos a llevar al plantel y de ahí los vamos a mandar con sus familias y con la casa, porque no queremos que tanta gente se junten en reunión y donde se pueden mezclar y compartir enfermedades en este momento. Okay, eso va a ser, yo sé, un cambio bien grande, pero es algo que tenemos que hacer por su seguridad y por las leyes del condado en este momento. Okay, al fin de esta presentación, lo vamos a tener puesto en nuestro sitio del web de la escuela y también vamos a tener esta información, lo vamos a mandar por correo electrónico a los estudiantes para que puedan empezar a llenar esta forma y así se parece. Les voy a enseñar en este momento. Aquí pueden ver que en esta forma les va a dar la misma información, les va a decir quién pueden registrar y que nada más pueden tener los 2. Vas a escribir el nombre, el apellido primero, el nombre de su hijo, el número de identificación, el número de teléfono donde les podemos hablar si tenemos cualquier pregunta. Y les voy a dar más un ejemplo en este momento. Y después van a escribir los nombres de los invitados. Como lo mismo, el apellido, el nombre. Y les da una pregunta si quiere decir si han tenido su vacuna. Have they been fully vaccinated? Si eso ya pasó, ya tienen las 2 vacunas, lo que pueden hacer en este momento es tomar una foto y lo pueden llenar aquí para que lo pueda ser parte de nuestra registración. Vamos a explicar en un momento por qué pueden hacer eso, porque es que les vamos a dar la oportunidad de sentarse en otra área donde se puede sentar más cerca a cada otro. Es una área de los vacunados, ¿ok? Y sería un poco más acerca a donde se puede ver la presentación de los diplomas, ¿ok? So this is the form that I'm sharing. It has the same information. You're going to see the beginning, like I had before, has your student's name, your information, your ID number, your phone number. Okay. Then you start filling in your guest information. It's going to ask this question: are they fully vaccinated? And the reason why it's asking that is because if you have a family member that is fully vaccinated, they've had their 2 shots or their 1 shot from the Johnson & Johnson, and you can attach a copy of registration card, they're eligible to sit actually in another area, which is our vaccinated area. So each school has to provide a vaccinated area, which lets family members, let's say your cousin is also graduating and both your families want to sit close together. In this area, we won't have to sit 6 feet apart. You will still have to wear a mask, but you are able to sit closer. And that area, we're going to try to put a little closer to the stage. So just to be able to provide some kind of priority seating as an incentive for all those folks who are going out there and getting vaccinated and helping us really get this virus under control. So that's a great thing. And if you do have that vaccine, please make sure to fill that out. That is a first come, first serve. And once that area fills up, then it's just back to the normal seating. So if that does relate to you and you have family members that are vaccinated, make sure to add a photo there. And then that way you get that priority seating, okay? So that's that information right here. And you'll see it's both of them. And once you're done with that, you submit both, okay? So, como dije antes, si tienen miembros de la familia que sí ya tienen las 2 vacunas, pueden enseñar la foto y vamos a tener una área especialmente para ellos donde se pueden sentar un poco más cerca a cada otro y donde se pueden sentar con maybe miembros de otra familia, de maybe miembros de su familia, si tienes maybe un nieto, alguien más que está graduando este año, esas 2 familias podrán sentarse juntos y no de 6 pies como lo demás del estadio. Okay, so that I know is a lot of information so far. So I'm going to just pause right here and just look at our Q&A and see if there's anything that I've missed, because I know that tends to be one of the biggest things is going through this graduation information.
Yeah. I try to answer most of them.
Okay.
I know that I'm answering right now a question where a student is asking at this point, if there's only a limit of 2 per student, wouldn't it be better if we just have a drive-through? And I would have to say no, I don't think it's better. We're trying to bring back as much normalcy as possible. So we're trying to do our best with this difficult situation. And, that's one of the reasons we're actually doing a live stream, so that it can help out with that.
Right. Yeah, we understand that it's a bummer that you can't bring more. And again, if things change with the yellow tier and we're allowed to increase our size, maybe we could do 1 ticket more. They tell us, that even the capacities are bigger than that. We'll definitely share that information with students and we'll let you know if you're able to get more tickets. But I think for you all, we wanted to give you an experience that, 2020 didn't get to have. They didn't get to cross the stage. They didn't get to get their name called and see their, that entire ceremony and walk in their gowns and go through that whole ceremony. And we're going to do everything we can to give you that moment and try to share it and record it so that that's something that you'll remember for the rest of your life. This form, I see that this form will be available as soon as possible. So you'll probably get emails between now and Monday morning. We're going to throw it on our website as well so that you all can start filling it out as soon as we can and have the opportunity to also record to update this recording. We'll have that up on our website too so that you can fill out the form. La pregunta era cuándo van a tener la forma disponible para los padres para llenar, para registrarse. Vamos a tratar de tenerlo todo lo más pronto posible. Ojalá este lunes ya pueden ver esta presentación, esa forma y todo lo que hemos hablado va a ser en nuestro website y también en su correo electrónico. Okay, let's see if there's any, is there any other things we haven't answered there, Marcus?
Okay, thank you. Right now, Mr. Palmasaracho, I've answered most of them. I'm still answering them as they come in. It says, will graduates have to provide proof of vaccination? Or is that just for guests?
At this time, it's just for guests. The graduates, we're going to space you out throughout this presentation. We also will do a screening as well when we have you coming onto campus. But for the most part, you guys will be all seating 6 feet apart, away from each other. You will be masked up. They're asking for really the guests, so that those who want to be in the vaccinated area where they can sit closer together and not be 6 feet apart, those are the ones that need to show proof of vaccination. If you don't want to show proof of vaccination, if you have not taken the vaccine, you will still be allowed to come to the ceremony, but you'll just be sitting 6 feet apart up in the stand, spaced out from one another.
So it says, where can I access the Google form?
It's not up just yet. This presentation, we will be sharing it soon. And like I said, by Monday, you'll have that form available. Okay, and we'll give you at least about a week or two to actually fill out the form, so we can get those numbers as soon as possible. Okay. When you register is really up to you. There was a question about if I'm getting my vaccine second dose soon, can I still register now? I would advise you, again, if you want to sit in the vaccinated area, you'll need to show proof of the 2 shots. So it's really up to you. If that's not something that interests you, you don't want to sit closer to like a fellow family members or friends that who are having folks graduate at the same time. If that's not something that is interesting you, then you can just fill it out now and you'll just get a seat placed on the bleachers somewhere.
Okay, so you had mentioned, Mr. Palmasaracho, that the Google link form for registration will be available soon after this meeting.
Yeah, as soon as we can. If we can try to get it up this weekend, we'll try to do so. But if not, for sure, by Monday, we'll have that up for you all. Okay. Let's see. Okay. What can we do? To have our names called without going to the ceremony? If there's particular things that are coming up, like that kind of situation, I would just say the best thing would be to email me. Let me know what I'd like to get more information about, what the reason for that would be. If it's because maybe you guys will be out of town or there's no way for you to attend the ceremony, we can get creative and find some ways to still honor you and be able to recognize you at the ceremony. But it just requires a little bit of more information there. Okay.
And we have a question where it says, what if you're getting the second dose in a few days? Can you still register now?
Yeah, I had answered one of those, that it's really up to you when you register. It will be first come, first serve. That was another question there. First come, first serve in regards to the registration. So when you start registering, the first name I see, that's going to be row 1, A1. Okay, those A1 and A2 for those 2 members. The second name I see is going to be row 1, A3 and 4. So, I wouldn't delay too much on it. But again, it's if you're waiting to be in the vaccinated area, I'm also going to, when I see that number start adding up and we have met the capacity for those parts of the bleachers where we'll have that zone, that will fill up, and then we'll just start back with the ticket numbers. So everyone will have a chance, and we'll announce that when it's available on Monday.
And it says here, if LA County goes down, we are down to the yellow tier, is there a potential for additional guests to be added at a later time?
Yes, we will definitely work with our families, and we'll figure that out as we get there. In the past, if we had additional tickets where we could give our graduates an additional ticket, we typically did that at graduation. So I see us doing the same kind of method, so that if we find out, okay, every graduate can get a 3rd person, a 4th person, etc., then we will definitely share that information. We will have a senior assembly before the graduation practices even start on May 28th, your last senior day. And so at that point, I expect to have a lot more information, more updates. And so, for instance, if the number changes, I will let you know, and we can just get those names and information as well.
And do those who register first get closer seats, or is it random?
It's really going to depend. I think we're going to try to start by giving the lower bleachers, the closer bleachers, by folks who register first come first serve. But it really depends depending on where you're sitting. Some rows, one side of the bleacher might fill up faster than the other, so it's going to be a little bit random. Um, Once you get your two people will for sure sit together. But after that, if you wanted to sit next to your other friend's family and they're registering too, there's no real way for me to really put you all together unless you like literally are registering like 1 second next to each other. So our goal is to just make sure that you get a seat and you're safe and you're socially distanced so that you're not risking getting exposed to the virus.
And what happens if one parent has a vaccination and the other doesn't? Will they sit together?
So if that's the scenario, then you can sit together, but you'll be sitting together in the assigned seats on the bleachers that will be 6 feet apart. You wouldn't both be able to go sit in the vaccinated area, and we couldn't do one in the vaccinated area and one not in the vaccinated area. So if one of the two people is not vaccinated, it just means you won't sit in the vaccinated area.
And I think you've answered this already. Are the seats first come, first serve?
Yes.
And here's a question. Are the seniors having a prom?
I'm going to get into other senior activities. That is a part of our presentation towards the end. We haven't got the green light yet for a prom or a dance yet. There are other ones that are outdoors and that we're able to do. But dances are still something. But again, things are changing. We do have the yellow tier information coming out. If we could have something like that, believe me, we will try our best to throw something like that. But at this time, we don't have a prom scheduled.
And so there's another question here. May you provide the link for the form?
Yeah, we will. And like I said, by Monday morning, if you haven't gotten it any sooner, you'll have the link to the form.
All right. And
All right.
all those Q&As so far.
All right. So let me go back to our presentation. So, because I think a lot of our questions that I also see coming up will be answered in this as well. Okay. So expectations for graduates. So now you have your ticket, you've been registered, you're going to come to the event. This is what's expected. And a lot of it's very similar to what we expected in the past. So graduates will be required to attend graduation practices. And that starts on Tuesday, June 1st through Thursday. Ooh, that's the wrong date, June 3rd. Okay. So we have only 3 days of practice this time around because Monday is Memorial Day. So we have no school on Monday. So it's going to be a lot shorter, a lot tighter in our practices. And because we're doing a live ceremony, it's going to be very important that everyone is there so that it starts from where you're going to be seating. And we start the seating on the first day of graduation practice and we walk through the whole ceremony. It shouldn't take too long. We usually do maybe a couple hours. So maybe from 9 to 11, I would say, is typically our graduation practice. We're going to have some senior events afterwards, but that is mandatory. We need all graduates who are planning to be in the ceremony to show up those days. That's like you going to school from 9 to 11. You're actually coming to school, being screened, checking in, and going through that. So I know some of you are working or some of you are doing other things. Make sure you do not sign up for anything during that time. Otherwise, we won't be able to give you your tickets for the ceremony. Okay. If you have any questions on that, you can also reach out to our office.
And also just a reminder that please post the questions in the Q&A and not in the chat.
Okay. The other thing is, so every day you'll come in, we're going to screen you at the front of the school. So you want to come to the very front of the school right here, where we will, take your temperature, ask you your COVID screening questions like we have all year. When you show up to ceremony, make sure that you're only wearing your approved graduation attire. We don't want you having a bunch of different things that haven't been approved that are not part of the school attire. You have to maintain social distancing the whole time. You have to wear your face covering the whole time. Gates will open at 5:30 so that if family members want to come early and just have their seat and whatnot, again, you will have an assigned seat, so you will have to sit in the seat in the ticket that you have been given. But that's we know some folks like to get here early because they worry about just making sure that they're set up. That's how early we'll start. Graduates must arrive an hour before the ceremony at 6 p.m. because we check you in, we make sure that you're ready to go, everything is right, we take attendance, we line you up, and then we go out to the ceremony. So we want all graduates here checked in, screened at 6 o'clock, okay? And you sign in at the front, and then we'll have you meeting in a certain classroom or an open area to just get you ready for the graduation. Graduates, you must remain in your assigned seats until the entire ceremony is over, and then we will, like I said, escort you back to the main quad for dismissal, okay? So let me go over that in Spanish. Estas son las expectativas para los graduados. Los graduados deberán asistir a las prácticas de graduación. Esto es obligatorio. Necesitamos que todos los que van a ser parte de la ceremonia vengan a las prácticas desde el día, el 1 de junio, que es día del martes, hasta el día de la ceremonia, que es un jueves, el 3 de junio. Esa fecha está mal. Debe ser el 3 de junio. Las prácticas empiezan a las 9 de la mañana. Y como dije, es bien importante porque vamos a estar practicando todo esto. Eso va a ser bien diferente y desde asignando sus asientos y cruzando todo lo que vamos a hacer, queremos que todo se vea muy bien, que ellos sepan todo el proceso de cómo se va a aparecer. Entonces, es obligatorio que ellos lleguen a la ceremonia y a las prácticas y que aprenden todo esto. Eso es como su forma de ir a la escuela esa semana. Y muchas veces nada más es por unas 2 horas y después de eso, les están libres a hacer lo que tienen que hacer, pero por favor no se inscriben en trabajo o en otros citas, otras cosas durante ese tiempo, porque si no vienen a la práctica no les podemos dar sus boletos. Y no haces 3 días, como dije. También, cada día que llegan les vamos a tomar la temperatura, les vamos a completar el proceso de control de salud, como hemos hecho todo el año. Se tienen que vestir apropiadamente como es parte de nuestras reglas sobre lo que deben tener puestos, de su toga, de su capa de graduación. Se tienen que cubrir la cara de todo momento en la ceremonia y durante práctica y tener distancia social de 6 pies. Las puertas van a abrir a las 5:30 para los padres que quieren venir a sentarse y agarrar su asiento. De todos modos, van a tener que sentarse en el lugar de que les dimos. ¿Okay? Los alumnos deben de llegar a las 6, una hora antes de la ceremonia para registrarse. ¿Okay? Y van a llegar al frente aquí para que les podamos chequear y después van a estar aquí en medio del plantel donde le vamos a estar informando del proceso. Es bien importante que todos se queden en sus asientos hasta el fin de la ceremonia y después vamos a escorta al regreso al patio y de ahí vamos a salir con todos los graduados y de ahí los puedes recoger para ir a la casa. All right. Expectations for our guests. Please make sure that when you show up, we're going to give you your graduates their tickets the last day of graduation practice. So we're going to give it to them. At that point, it is their responsibility to make sure it gets to you and that you come with both your ID and your ticket to graduation. We will be checking, again, like I said, the names on that list, the registration. Your tickets will be color-coded. So that way you don't get lost and you don't end up on the wrong side. They will be color-coded so that those who have a gold ticket, they will be on the visitor side because your student will be sitting on that side of the stadium. And those who have a purple ticket will be sitting on the home side. And that's where your student will be on that side of the stadium. So it's important that you go to the right area. You don't want to stand in the wrong line and then, risk being late to the ceremony. Okay. We expect all guests to follow the screening protocols. Please keep your distance. Please, you have to wear your face mask at all times. We will have extra in case you need some if something happens to it, but it has to be on the whole time. You have to remain in your seats. If you need to use the restroom, obviously the restrooms will be available. We ask that folks still maintain their distance as they're in there. We can't have folks congregating. We can't have folks loitering outside of that seating area. You have to be in your seat during the ceremony. When the ceremony is over, everybody can leave in multiple exits. and then be able to go meet their graduate and pick them up and take them home. We talked about no eating or drinking, and we really want everyone to refrain as best they can from yelling, shouting, or screaming. That's how droplets get released into the air. So I know that's gonna be really tough. Of course, clapping is encouraged and all that stuff. We want that. We really don't want folks to do anything where that you can be possibly spreading virus. So I know that's difficult and it's hard to imagine, but we really ask that folks try as best they can so that we keep this to be as safe a ceremony as possible. We cannot allow folks to enter the grass and go onto the field and meet with the graduates. Again, please let us escort them all the way back. We're going to escort them back to the campus. At that point, they can then scatter and meet you in whichever parking lot that you met at. And you can meet them at the front of the school or in different parts that you all can keep your distance and not risk getting exposed to the virus from someone else. We will have enter and exit areas located throughout. And please make sure to follow all instructions that are given to you by our school staff who will be helping you, whether it's finding your seat and knowing where to sit, whether it's knowing how to use the restroom and using that at a few at a time. It's very important that you follow all directions. So las expectativas para los invitados que van a estar ahí, tienen que estar presente con su boleto y su ID cuando llegan. Vamos a estar chequeando que es la misma persona que está en la lista. Por favor, siguen todos los protocolos que los hemos dicho de distancia social, de tener la cara cubierta, que se sienten en sus asientos todo el tiempo y que no, si tienen que ir al baño, esa es la excepción, pero después, por favor, se tienen que regresar, sentarse en su asiento hasta el fin de la ceremonia. No podemos que sean congresando por diferentes partes del estadio, ni antes ni después. No podemos dejar que las familias se pasen al campo. Después que terminamos, vamos a llevar a todos los alumnos al medio del plantel y desde ese momento se pueden ir de despedida con ustedes, se pueden juntarse con ustedes en diferentes establecimientos, enfrente de la escuela, todo eso para que tenemos más espacio entre cada familia. ¿Okay? Y por favor, les pedimos que siguen con todas las reglas, todas las instrucciones de los miembros del plantel, porque son para su seguridad. Accommodations. So again, we will try. One thing we have for sure is we will be streaming this ceremony so that anyone who didn't get a chance to come live will be able to watch it either live or later on. It will be available to our YouTube our system, and it will be available on our website. Photos of our graduates will also be available for purchase. We always try to get a photographer there that they can take a picture as they're coming down from the stage, and we'll post that usually on our website as well, so that if you want to purchase that picture for your graduate, we'll have that as well. We have our big Jumbotron as well, so you can watch from the stands and see them coming out across that stage and celebrating that moment. We will have reserved seating for disabled guests. We always try to put some seats that are easily accessible so that they don't have to climb the stands, so that they're probably in a flatter area. And again, we'll try to keep that as best we can. So if you do have someone who's in a wheelchair or something like that, we will make accommodations for them so that those folks are able to sit in a place that is suitable to their needs. We will have a fully vaccinated area, like we mentioned, and so that area is for only those who have both members of their guests who are fully vaccinated and they have shown us their card on the registration. It is required, and even though they're vaccinated, we still require that all face masks are worn in that section, because it is a lot of different people closer together, and our regulations still from the county and the state say that they still have to have the mask at this time. Okay, if that changes, we'll let you know. So, en español, alojamientos de la graduación, como dijimos antes, toda esa transmisión va a estar grabado para que lo pueden ver antes, para que lo pueden ver durante la ceremonia en nuestro website. También lo pueden ver después, va a estar grabado para que lo pueden ver después en un canal de YouTube. Vamos a tomar fotos de los graduados y eso va a estar disponible para ustedes para comprar después. Siempre los ponemos en el website después donde lo pueden comprar. Vamos a tener asientos reservados para los discapacitados. So, siempre ponemos una área donde ellos se pueden sentar si están en como una silla de ruedas o algo así, donde no pueden subir escalones. Vamos a siempre darles una área donde es más disponible para ustedes, ¿ok? So, sí, vamos a tener eso también. So, no tengan preocupación si eso es el caso de alguien en su familia. La sección de asientos solo para los que están vacunados. Hemos hablado de eso. Eso nada más va a ser para si tienen dos familiares que van a venir y los dos tienen las vacunas, vamos a tener una área especialmente para ellos. Y de todos modos todavía tienen que tener sus máscaras, ¿ok? No, aunque están sentados, porque están sentados un poco más apretados, más acercados, es bien importante que todavía de todas maneras en este momento tengan su máscara, ¿ok? And so with that, I wanted to get into some of the senior events because you might be thinking, what if I didn't buy my cap and gown? I didn't think I was going to graduate, so I didn't buy it. So we will have another opportunity for that because obviously we want you to have a cap and gown. And we know with that, we were taking senior portraits before this year, way earlier, like in November, we were taking senior portraits and some of you didn't have a chance to take it. Ms. Reyes has been trying very hard to reach out to you guys. So if you didn't get a chance to take that senior portrait and buy your cap and gown, we do have one more day that we are doing that. So that's on this coming Monday, May 10th, from 2 o'clock to 3:30, and there's a lot of appointments still available. You can come in to our campus, and we ask that you make an appointment first with Ms. Reyes. You can call this phone number that is listed here, and her extension is 5811. And we will be able to sell you your cap and gown, which is still a very reasonable price of $60. We're not trying to raise it up so that it's accessible to you all. And you can then buy your cap and gown. And for those $60, we will also include your senior portrait. So basically, it looks beautiful. It looks just like that. Our ladies are in our gold. Our gentlemen are in the purple. And you will take your picture. That file gets uploaded. And your family then has access to that picture. So you could go print it out in as many copies as you want and whatever size. You take it to Walgreens, take it to Costco, take it wherever you want. Then you can spend it. So we really try to work to make this easy for our families so that you wouldn't spend a lot of money and that you would have access to print it however you want. So that will be available for you all. We really encourage you to do this. And I'm going to show you why in a second. Because with these portraits, we have big plans. We want to celebrate these seniors like we celebrated last year's seniors, and we want to have the best possible picture of you. It won't be able to go in the yearbook anymore. Unfortunately, if you did not take this picture before, we had to use your ID picture if you didn't take this nice portrait. But there are still other things we want to do with it that I think your family will really love. So we highly encourage you to go get that picture taken, okay? And that's a great chance to buy your cap and gown. One thing about your cap and gowns, and I know the question comes up, you cannot decorate your caps, you cannot alter the gowns. They have to be our standard traditional purple and gold caps and gowns, okay? That's part of our tradition, that's part of our ceremony. We want you all to look like everyone looks there in their uniform Viking graduate ceremony like it has since 1970. So that is a thing that we do. Now, there is a way that you could still add some distinction to yourself to represent the things that you were a part of in school or things that are important to your culture or to your family. And that's our MVHS graduation stole. So we have one stole that we are allowing all students to use. And a lot of your academies have even purchased it already for you. It's right here on the right. As you can see, it's our Mountain View Viking stole. And a lot of our programs have already started giving the patches that are going on the stole. You as a graduate will have the opportunity to decorate this with things that are appropriate, okay? Anything that is inappropriate will not be allowed to be worn, but if you wanna put things that represent things that you were involved with, your sports, your extracurriculars, you know, just things that were very important to you, maybe things that have been very important to your family, to your culture, to your faith. You will have the opportunity to basically decorate and embroider and do things to your stole as long as they're appropriate, which means they're not offensive. It means they're not preaching anything that is violent, preaching anything that would you know, cause concern, anything that would be obviously drug related, anything like that. This is a chance for you to express your individuality, and everyone will have that opportunity to wear that stole. stoles are available. If you aren't a part of Academy and you want to buy one, you want to decorate it all out like we've been talking about, they are $15 only, and they're available on our web store. And if you click on the link on the website, you'll be able to do that. Okay, so esto es información sobre el vestido, la capa, la toga de graduación. Si no lo compraron antes, tienen una oportunidad de comprarlo. Si no tomaron su foto, porque maybe pensaron que no iban a graduar, tenemos una oportunidad. Este lunes es nuestra última oportunidad porque siempre estamos pagando el que viene a tomar las fotos, a ser parte de este evento. Y entonces pueden hacer las dos cosas porque es una combinación que vendemos por $60. Les damos su capa, todo el vestido de graduación y les tomamos su foto. Y esa foto les damos la licencia para que lo pueden llevar a printar en cualquier manera que quieran, en cualquier tamaño que quieran, y nada más es esos $10. Entonces, es una combinación que es lo más barato que hemos ofrecido en nuestros años aquí, y lo recomendamos porque aunque no va a tener la oportunidad de meter esta foto en el yearbook, en el anuario de la escuela, hay otras formas que estamos usando estas fotos que ustedes ya saben porque lo hemos hecho el año pasado. También si ellos quieren decorar su stole, lo que es especialmente de Mountain View, aquí lo estamos vendiendo y aquí pueden escribir o decorarlo con cosas que son bien importantes a ellos, que me representan las cosas que fueron involucrados aquí en la escuela, o su familia, o su cultura, o su fe. Eso es posible en estas cosas, en el stole, en la corbata que ellos pueden tener. No se puede dibujar o poner cosas en la capa, no se puede dibujar o escribir cosas en la toga. Eso es parte de nuestra tradición. So, si quieren decorar algo y poner algo distinto para ellos, lo pueden hacer aquí en la stole. Okay? If you have questions on that, again, go ahead and throw it in the chat. Okay? I mean, not the chat, in the Q&A. So what are we going to do with those wonderful pictures and banners? And some of this is things that you've seen. So we've started getting some banners that we're decorating our campus with because we miss you seniors, and we want you to know that you will not be forgotten. You are not, just, you might be away, but you're not forgotten. So we have started putting up our senior signs all around our campus. You probably will see them if you ever drive past our school these days. And we're going to go bigger and better each single time. So our next thing that we want to do for all of our college-going graduates, and we're so proud of you. We're hearing all these fantastic stories about all these colleges that you're being admitted to. We're going to take these graduation photos. We're going to make these banners that we're going to put throughout our school to inspire all of our fellow Vikings. Your younger Vikings are going to be able to see you and say, wow, we have Vikings that are going to UCLA and USC and CSUN and APU and all these fantastic places that you are doing. We're having a big college event, and it's one of our events on our calendar next Wednesday, College Acceptance Day. And so we're asking, where did you go? Where are you going to go? You probably got admitted to a bunch of places. Where are you going to go? Where are you going to go inspire greatness next? So make sure to stop on by, take a picture that day, make sure to have your senior portrait, and we want to know what school you're going to be at, because we're going to put that up so that people can celebrate you and see and be amazed by what our Vikings can do. These on the right are actually our senior portrait posters. Last year, we started this tradition, and we printed up posters of our senior portraits for our families on these nice, huge lawn signs that your family can take, put it on the wall, put it on your front lawn, put it in the backyard when you have the big pachanga. That's up to you. But our goal is to really give you something beautiful that your family can have forever and ever. And so this is an example of what they're going to look like. And again, these only look nice if you're in your cap and gown and you're looking good. Okay, when I put an ID picture on this, it's just not the same. And you and I know it's not the same. And our city is also going to help with honoring you. And they want to put the banners up on the streets in Durfee, and you saw them on Valley. They're talked about doing that again, right, Mr. Marquez?
Yes, sir. Mm-hmm. Yeah, when you get a break there, Mr. Rocha, maybe it may be a good time to answer some of these questions live. Okay,
all
so
right.
Whenever you're ready.
Okay, so nada más lo que estuve diciendo, nada más para terminar con esta parte es, las fotos que vamos a tomar lo estamos usando en diferentes maneras para celebrar a sus hijos. Una manera en que lo estamos haciendo es, han visto que estamos poniendo estas banderas por las calles de nuestra escuela y también por la ciudad. Eso lo vamos a hacer otra vez este año y eso se ve bien bonito cuando los tenemos en una foto profesional como estos que ves aquí. Cuando es la foto de los ID, o muchas veces pueden ver que si van por Valley o si van aquí por Durfee, hay unas fotos que no tienen foto, hay unas banderas que no tienen foto y eso es porque no tomaron la foto y no es lo mismo. So, por favor, si quieren tomar esta oportunidad de tomar su foto profesional, pueden venir este lunes para hacerlo. Ok, so llaman antes para que les podamos dar una cita. Y también estamos haciendo estas banderas para los que van a ir a un colegio de 4 años también. Eso es un logro bien exitoso y lo queremos celebrar porque eso va a inspirar a las generaciones después para que ellos puedan ver, mira lo que han logrado nuestros vikingos y que ellos pueden ver que eso es lo que es posible y yo lo quiero hacer también porque puedo ver lo que ellos han hecho antes. Estos que están aquí abajo son los que vamos a printar como el año pasado. Es un regalo de nosotros a ustedes, a sus familias. Estamos haciendo estos gigantes posters con la foto de su hijo para que lo puedan poner en su casa, en la pared, en enfrente, atrás, en la yarda, como quieran, para tener un regalito para la familia, ¿ok? Y eso nomás se ve bonito si tiene una foto profesional. Si es una foto del ID, no es lo mismo, ¿ok? So, les recomiendo que tomen eso. So let's take some questions, Mr. Marquez. What do you have?
Okay, what activities, am I off of mute? Okay, good. What activities will we be having and when?
Okay, that's going to be coming up next, so I'll hold on to that question.
Okay. What is a dress code?
The dress code, we'll be going over that more before, but it's always, dress like in the way that you want to be the most classy representation of yourself and your family. This is a once in a lifetime moment. There's only so many graduations you will be a part of. So we always talk about, coming in the best attire that you have. I mean, the stuff you would wear to church, the stuff you would wear if you were going to court, the stuff that you would wear if you were going to a wedding. Like you want to be wearing, your absolute best so that you just look like $1,000 when you show up to our graduation. So we typically talk about collared shirt. We typically talk about not wearing jeans, wearing pants, wearing appropriate shoes. For the ladies, we'll go over that. You don't want to wear crazy high heels. You don't want to wear stuff that's going to trip you up when you're crossing the field and stuff like that. But so for the most part, we'll talk about more details. But just know, guys, you want to dress nice. You want to be the best representation that day. You want to be able to look back on these pictures 20, 30, 40, 50 years from now and be like, man, I looked amazing that day. I was just a stud then, so you definitely want to just look your nicest, dress to impress.
All right, next question. Are you having fireworks at the end of the ceremony?
Fireworks, we're looking into it. We're seeing if that's a possibility. They are expensive and we're trying to see if there are funds. And also it's not just the funds, but it's also the safety. Again, we're not allowed to keep folks grouped together for very long. So we're going to see if we can, we have to get approval from our district first to see if that is something that's allowable this year. And then we'd have to look at some of the funding for it. So we're definitely exploring it. And if we can, I'll definitely let you guys know. But it is on our mind. It is something we're considering.
And will we be able to take photos with our friends before graduation starts?
We will definitely work on that. That's a lot of times when we have you guys come early, when you get registered, there's always moments where folks start taking pictures. And as long as we are wearing our mask and are trying our best to be socially distanced, we don't want to have huge crowds of people that could, result in you getting sick. If we do it responsibly, I'm sure there's ways we can do it. We usually meet up in the pep stand. We meet up in the quad. I think there will be a lot of ways for you to take pictures with your friends as long as we do it responsibly.
Okay, if we have been approved to get a white gown, when will we be able to pick it up?
Okay, that's a very good question. White gowns have arrived, but we still have to sort them and we still have to confirm everyone who has earned their white gown. Some of you are still waiting for the last grades taking place right now, these last 3 classes. So we typically wait until senior checkout week to give you your white gowns. So that will be a part of our senior checkouts, which I'll go into in a little bit. So the day that you come in and you bring all your books and everything like that, we will switch out your gowns. Okay, so keep those grades up. Those of you who are on the borderline, I want to give you your white gown so that you are in the big honors roll, and that the white folks also in the white gowns, I mean, are always in the front row. So that is a nice privilege. So keep working hard.
Okay, our senior portraits won't be used for the yearbook. I thought they were.
Those who did take their senior portraits all the time before, all those are already in the book. The problem with this is that all senior portraits have to be submitted for the yearbook by a certain time for them to be printed in time. So we had our we had the makeup for those who had paid for their portraits way back in November. I believe we had it a month or so ago, or a couple months ago, when we had to submit those deadlines to the yearbook company. So these portraits that we're taking on Monday, it's too late. We won't be able to get those into the yearbook. But like I said, our hope is to be able to do this, was what you see in front of you, with those portraits. So even though I might not make it in the yearbook, and unfortunately that's just what happened, it's still a good opportunity to get that nice portrait for your family.
Okay, and what if you already altered your cap?
That's a problem. And I would say just, communicate with our office. We might have to find about, purchasing a replacement.
And it says here, next questions. Will we be able to be given masks corresponding to our cap and gowns? For example, the boys will revive a purple mask and the girls will, excuse me, let me read that again. Will we be able to be given a corresponding mask to our cap and gown? For example, the boys will receive a purple mask and the girls will receive a gold mask.
That's a color coordinating the mask. We hadn't thought about that. That's a fun request. I mean, if there's interest in that, we could maybe pull the seniors, see if they'd like to do that. Last year, I know we gave one that was special just to that had your 2020 or 2021. I know a lot of folks like to wear their own custom mask, like that's a part of their outfit. So if that's something you're interested in, I'm sure that's something we could look into.
All right, next question. Why will they not, they said, why will there not be a yearbook?
There will be a yearbook. The yearbook will be available. It actually should be arriving shortly, and it's going to be passed out on our senior checkout day. I believe that's May 27th, when you guys are bringing in all your books and everything like that. We're going to be distributing the yearbooks to everyone who purchased it. And I think there are some still left in case you want to buy one now. What we were talking about is that this picture on Monday, if you're doing the senior makeup picture and you never took your portrait, it's going to be too late for it to be into our yearbook.
Mm-hmm. All right, next question. Can graduates wear stoles that they bought on their own?
No, unfortunately, during the ceremony, the only stole that is allowed is the Mountain View High School stole. Afterwards, after the ceremony, if you want to put your stoles, your lays, all that stuff, I know folks have those fun money lays and all that kind of stuff. Those are all really cool. And, I'm sure those look really nice when you take your pictures with your family members and stuff outside. But for our ceremony, it's only the approved gown and cap and gown attire, which is our Mountain View stole.
If parents live together and their driver's license has different addresses, can they still register it as the same household?
I think we'll be okay there. With parents, again, it's just going to be about who's been registered for you. We really are hoping that, this is a trust system here, that the two folks you're putting on that list are your immediate family members, because that's the safest thing for you. If the ID says a different address, and then we know that some families are, might be divorced or separated, and you still want your mom and your dad to go, that is allowed. I think that was a question earlier. If they're like your immediate family, that is allowed. It's just important that you do register those two names. And once you register those two names, those are the only two people who are going to be let into the stadium. If you try to switch it at the end, that person's not going to be let in. So please make sure that you honor that, and you really think about who are going to be those two people that you want to have come to the ceremony.
All right, next question. If parents have joint custody and the student lives in both households, why can't both parents in a divided home attend?
I think we just answered that. So we are allowing, they either have to be both a part of your household, or they have to be your immediate family members, like your mom and your dad.
And this is more of a comment. It says you guys should really get us fireworks for our graduation, and we'll try.
We'll try.
Yeah. Okay, next one. When will spring CIF CIF applications go out?
CSF, I believe
Yes.
that has come and gone. I mean, that was emailed out to the seniors. I saw a few months ago. And if you have questions about it, like if you turned one in and you're not sure if you made it or not, I would contact Dr. Chris Lewis. That's Chris.Lewis. He's in charge of that club, and he puts together all the applications for CSF for the Honor Society. So make sure to get in contact with him. It might be too late if you haven't done so by now.
And will CSF be seated in the front rows?
CSF always sits in the front row, so we will definitely still honor that and reward that commitment, that dedication that you put in all 4 years to make that honor society. So we definitely always honor the CSF, and those white gowns sit in the front row.
And how much would the yearbook be?
It is on our website, and I could look it up afterwards. I'm not quite sure, to tell you the truth off the bat. So I'll try to bring up our web store afterwards so you can see it.
Okay, and how can we receive our yearbooks if we're going to Universal Studios on the 27th?
So let me get into the calendar right now in a second. I'll show you guys what I mean by when we'll be doing those distributions. So I'll come back to that question.
All right, and that's it.
Okay, so let me go into our next thing, which was the question you guys brought up. Senior activities. I know you guys have waited long and hard, and seniors, you guys had an even tougher year than even the year before you, because you didn't even get any of the activities, and we know that. So now that we've gotten some of the restrictions lifted and they're letting us do more senior events, some of you have come and joined a part of our pods, and that's been great to see you guys. It's always awesome to see you all at lunch and having those social moments. But we are also planning some after school activities, and I know the year is wrapping up fast, so we're trying to do maybe one at least per week. You're going to notice that some of these have like a couple ones a week, this one right now. So let's get into it. Look at the calendar on the right. This is what's on our website, and you can take a look at our website afterwards to check this out. So this is the last month of your high school career. We're going to go out with a bang. So right now is there's a bunch of Mindful May workshops. Those are great, like renewal week activities like we had, whether it's art, dance, mental health workshops, all kinds of stuff. You could tap into that. They're doing those each of these weeks in May. So just keep checking our website. It's also on our social media if you want to check that out. AP testing is going on, so good luck to all those students. Good luck. We hope you pass with 4s and 5s and save yourself some money when you go to college. We have our information session tonight. Next week, we start our big senior events. The first one I've already talked about is our senior portrait day. So it's our makeup day. We definitely want you to do that. The next one is our college acceptance day. That's a drive-through event. That's going to be from 4 to 5 p.m. Here on campus, and we're passing out some goodies for you. We got some gear, we got some food, we got a college banner we want you all to sign so we can see where you're going. We're going to be collecting what college you're going to be going, because I talked about those college acceptance banners. So if you haven't signed up with Ms. Berg, she sent you about 100 emails. So make sure you fill out that Google form so that we can honor that. Okay. So any student who's been accepted to a 4-year college, please sign up for our college acceptance day. That's a big one we celebrate every year. Our senior sunrise. So this is our first event that all our seniors can come out and be a part of. It's a group gathering. Okay. Socially distanced as always. But we'll be doing an event at 5:30 in the morning. Woo, I know, early, right? 0 period. So we're going to have that event at our Viking Stadium where you all can basically come and watch the sunrise together. And then a couple weeks from then, we'll actually have our closing ceremony, our senior sunset and movie night. So that will be an event, and I'll show you how you can sign up for those in a second. We'll be providing free food. We'll be providing some games. We'll be providing just that fun atmosphere so you guys can have those moments together that you'll remember for the rest of your life. So check those out. The following week, we're going to have like a game day. We're going to have ourselves a senior volleyball, softball tournament. We thought about maybe bringing out the kickball, have a kickball tournament. So that's kind of like our athletic game day. So even if you're not an athlete, it's just, a chance to have some fun again with your friends, form your own team, do our Viking ball tournament that we didn't get to do. We're going to do it that day just for the seniors, and we'll have food and we'll have different items for you. So we'll talk about signing up for that. This last week is your senior week. This is senior finals week. So all your finals should be done by this Wednesday. On that day, we ask your teachers to give us the final grade. Did you pass? Did you fail? We hope not. We definitely don't want any seniors to mess up in this final stretch. Then on the 27th, that Thursday, that's our senior checkout day. You will be receiving emails. Make sure to check your emails. We'll be sending you if you have any fines, if you lost any books, if you have equipment, uniforms that you didn't turn in, you have to turn everything in by this day. Okay. This is what we check with your counselor and your grades to make sure that you are eligible to walk in the ceremony. Okay. If you are missing something, then you need to work with us to resolve that as soon as possible so that you are eligible and cleared to participate in graduation. Okay. So on this day, you're going to bring all your textbooks back, and that's going to be in the morning. So that'll be from like, we start usually as soon as we have our staff ready. So typically from like, 7:45 throughout the day, we will have the senior checkout. And we'll create appointments so that it's not you guys all here at the same exact time. Okay. We will also have our senior awards night. So if you want a scholarship, if you want a, we talked about CSF, we talked about the Blackboards, if you want a presidential award, if you want different things from your clubs, we're going to have that senior awards night outside for our families, and we'll give you more information about that. That's going to be at 5 o'clock and out here. We're going to have our virtual assembly for the seniors on the 28th, and that's going to be us like basically walking through graduation protocols again and talking about different, we talked about dress code, we go into it more and talking about graduation practice and things of that nature. And then we'll have our big senior sunset event and movie night at 7 p.m. out here at school. And that's another chance to bring out your blanket and hang out with your friends, and we'll have some food and we'll have some stuff for you guys there. So that should be another fun event for you all. Then our final week, you see graduation practice, no school on that Monday, graduation practice every morning. You need to show up. We'll be taking attendance. And then after every graduation practice, we have something big for you. So this is our final senior week. We're going to have our senior picnic. We're going to try to have some really yummy food for you that day. On the Wednesday, we're going to have a senior color run. So you saw the fun time we had a few years ago. It's like a crazy color war going on that day. So that'll be a fun one. And then we will have obviously our last graduation practice. We'll pass out your tickets for graduation then. And then we'll have our actual ceremony at 7 p.m. And you guys need to be here by 6. Okay. Any questions on senior events? Oh, let me show you. This is the form. This will also be available. You'll see it soon.
Actually, we do have some more questions, but if you'd like to go over that first.
Yeah, let me just show you. It's a very easy form, seniors. Basically, it tells us which one do you want to go to? Do you want to go to all of it? Do you want to go to some of it? We need as always, we need a contact trace. So we need to know who's coming. We use this as our sign-in list when you come on these days. So fill this out, your last name, your first name, your ID number, a phone number in case we need to get a contact with you. And then you get to choose. Do you want to do senior sunrise? Or do you want to be a part of the volleyball tournament? Do you want to get, some delicious food and hang out with your friends at senior picnic? Do you want to be a part of the color run and be throwing color powder and all that stuff at everyone? Do you want to be a part of the sunset and the movie night? So if you fill out all of them, that's great. You'll be on our list for all of them. If you're only interested in a couple of them, that's great too. And then you just click submit, okay? So that will be something else that we'll share. And that will be a part of this presentation. You can click on that link and Ms. Reyes will send that out to you guys very shortly too. All right.
All right. Okay, some questions. On picture day, they told us that we will make up the date. I called the activities office multiple times and no answer. Some of the students were not able to take pictures due to COVID. That's unfair.
So anyone that paid for portraits, we did have some scenarios where folks, couldn't come because COVID happened, whatever. We definitely already arranged. We had a makeup day for those folks. We called, it was about 17 people, as I recall, who weren't able to show up those 3 days that we set up for senior portraits. And that was a whole ordeal. As you all remember, we had to go all the way to the aquatic center and set up your portraits there because that's all that was allowed. So we did those 3 days. We then did that makeup day. We called up all 17 members who did have a chance to pay. That was all we were allowed to invite at that time because the restrictions were still a lot higher and we weren't allowed to bring any other seniors onto campus. So we took those portraits and we included those so that they wouldn't be missed. Now we are taking these senior portraits and we will be offering them, like I said, on Monday. We did not raise the price. We kept them as easy as we could. so that you can still take a nice portrait and we could use that to create your nice mementos. So like I said, they'll go on your banners, they'll go on your senior portrait lawn signs, they'll go on your college acceptance banners that we're going to put around the campus. Even though I know it's unfortunate and I wish there could have been more that we could have done, we really tried to take as many chances at these senior portraits as we could as what was allowed.
Okay, and how do we get our blue card?
Your blue card information will be coming out shortly. Basically, it's digital. It won't be a physical card. The blue card basically goes to everyone who checks all the items. So it will go to the student store and they'll see, did you have any fines? Did you lose any books? It's going to go to the library. Did you forget to turn a library book from way back when? If so, go find it, turn it in. We don't want to charge you. We'd rather have the book. If you have like PE, not PE, but you were part of a sport and you borrowed a jersey and you never turned it in, maybe because you had COVID and you couldn't bring it back to school, you got to bring it in now. Otherwise, you're going to have a fine on your record. And until you clear that fine, you can't participate in the ceremony.
And you know, if you're a senior and you lost your textbook, like Mr. PS was saying, is, you know, we're not looking for that money. We would prefer the book back. So if you cannot find it, or if the fine is more than what you like to pay and you can find the book somewhere else cheaper, say on eBay, we're okay with that. You know, so it just has to be the same book. Just double check that. Okay. I have some more questions here, Mr. PS. How do you know you got an award?
You will be receiving, if you got an award, you will probably be receiving an email very shortly. And that's a special invite on Senior Awards Night. That will go out to you from probably the College and Career Coordinator, or Miss Margina Burt, or you might be getting a phone call from Miss Rochelle Gamblin. So just keep an ear out for that. We will definitely be reaching out to you. We're just getting all the scholarship winners right now. So you'll probably be receiving that within the next week.
And next question, what if you can't go to all of the graduation practices?
Then you really need to reach out to us. I'm going to share my contact information next so that you can send me an email, or you can send an email to Ms. Reyes. But we need to know, we need to really have a valid reason why. You know, it's very important that you're here. We're going to go over every single thing of this ceremony. And because of our protocols, everything's going to be different. Like the way we march in, the way we march out, the way we have to cross the stage. All these different things we're going to have to practice. We don't want it to be like you guys are a deer stuck in the headlights on graduation day. You don't know where to walk. So we usually practice 4 days in any usual ceremony. This is an unusual ceremony, and we only get 3 days. So I ask that you do whatever you can to be there from 9 to 11 on the graduation days. It's just 3 days. Okay, so please work with us on that.
Next question, where can I pick up my cap and gown?
Great question. If you have purchased it, and then again on Monday, we're going to have the cap and gown pictures. So if most of you who are purchasing them now, that would be the day on Monday. If for whatever reason, like I mentioned, the white gowns, we're going to pass those out on your senior checkout day on the 27th.
And next question, will we get our 2021 ID cards?
We did not take ID card pictures this year. Everything was digital. So it's your ID picture is actually on your portal.
And I believe that this next comment pertains to what you said earlier in regards to, I believe, pictures. It says that's not true. I never received a call. My parents called and they were told there will be no makeups.
It was probably at that time that we couldn't have makeups. Like I said, this was the first time we've been able to do actual makeup sessions for anyone who didn't sign up on those 3 days. We only were able to bring in the small amount because it was such a small number to do that day for those who paid but weren't able to arrive because they were having a quarantine and things like that. So this is our one chance, our last chance for anyone who wants to take the picture. So we invite you to be a part of it. It's up to you. If you want to take advantage of that date and get this nice portrait, like I said, we really want to put the best picture we can of you. So if we can put that on our street lights, if we could put that on our campus, we really want to do that.
All right, this is the last question. if our Chromebook is damaged, can we still go get it fixed by the school before senior checkout? Well, I can answer that one. If you want, you can come and see if we can get it repaired here by our tech, our computer tech. But he's going to have to do it before senior checkout, because unfortunately, if it's damaged and we can't get it fixed by your senior checkout day, we won't be able to repair it. So get it to school like Monday.
And you know what? And Mr. Marquez has a good point there, because one of the things that our district is honoring once again is that your seniors will be able to keep your Chromebook. It will be a gift that you will be able to have past this. But once we hit checkout day, it becomes your possession, and it's not under our warranty anymore. And you do need to bring your Chromebooks. We'll have more information about that, because basically you bring it into us. We wipe them clean. We take off the restrictions so that it becomes completely your Chromebook. You won't have to log in anymore. It's really yours. So that's a part of the checkout process. But yeah, if something wrong with it, if the screen's cracked, if something's not working, I mean, we want you to gain that fix, because A, you got a few more weeks of school to go, and we want you to do your best. And B, like, this is your last chance to get it fixed by our staff before you check out. So get that done right away, because we don't want you to get to, graduation day, and now you have you wanted to use your Chromebook for work. We're not going to be able to fix it anymore. It's not under our school warranty.
Right. And okay, I have another question here is, I wasn't able to make the makeups for the pictures. Do I have to pay again?
That's a very good question. If we have a payment from a student, we will honor that payment. So if you paid and you never took that picture, then you won't have to pay a second time. Those who haven't purchased their portraits will need to pay for their portrait.
All right, that was the last question.
Okay, so this is just a screenshot of our website, guys. A lot of this information that I shared here is here. If you go to the very top, activities, and you click class of 2021 information, you're going to see all this stuff. You're going to see this meeting this is where we're going to post it. Your virtual graduation information, your senior T-shirt. We still have a lot of senior T-shirts from you guys, and that was a free gift that we gave to our seniors as well. Thank you, Mr. Marquez, for giving us that purchase. Basically, you guys got two shirts. So you got your original one that you got when you were freshmen, and now you get your senior shirt. Cap and gown. If you want to buy your cap and gown, here's some information. Senior portraits, similar information. Eduardo Visuals Photography. Some of you have been asking about how to do photo shoots on campus. Mr. Torres, who does that, that's a whole different thing. It's not even a part of the school, but we put that advertisement there. If you want to set up, like some of you were talking about, like maybe I want to take a picture with a cousin or somebody that's not going to be able to be here on graduation, you can set this up and he'll come shoot these in a really nice professional format throughout our campus. So we've had students who have been doing that already, and they're coming on after school, obviously after school, because we don't want this to be interrupting your instruction. But you can come onto campus, set up an appointment with Mr. Eddie Torres, and he can do a nice photo shoot for you and your family. And he can do that for you here on your campus in your cap and gown. Yearbook information is there. Grad night information is here. If you wanted to go class ring and some graduation items, Justin's information is here as well. This is our link, so you can see it. Okay. If you want to buy things like your cap and gown, there's information regarding that. And there should be a link to our student store. So if you go here and you click on our, trying to see where my student store items are. You also get a little price range. We do accept credit card payments as well. That's a new service we do offer. So if you want to pay for some of these things ahead of time, you can also pay by phone, or you can buy it at our student store online. Okay. So that's information. There's also information about textbooks and Chromebooks and that kind of stuff too. And I think that's the end of our presentation. If there was some kind of question, information, some of you, we talked about individual items, like individual questions, stuff about practice. If there's some kind of thing, please do not wait until the last minute. Please do not wait till graduation practice to tell me you're not going to be able to make it. Like, you need to communicate ahead of time so we can figure something out. this is my contact information up here. I'm Mr. Palma Saracho, right? I'm the assistant principal here in charge of activities and a couple other things. So go ahead and this is my contact. These are my extensions. You can call me here at school. This is my email. You can send me an email. Miss Reyes, that's my right hand right there. And you know that she's always available as well. If you can't get a hold of me, 5811, that's her extension. This is her email as well. Anything that you have a question about related to graduation, she's going to be an expert as well. So, you know, feel free to send us questions if you guys have any questions. All right, so with that, we'll hang on for a few more minutes if folks have any questions, but if not, you know, we really thank you guys for joining us today, and we can't wait to celebrate you guys in style. We were going to go all out. We're going to do the biggest kind of graduation ceremony we can so that you have a moment that's as special and monumental as any other class that's ever had it.
I'd just like to thank everyone for coming tonight, and I hope that you all take part in this, and we just appreciate that you're here tonight, and we look forward to seeing you guys later. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.